In this video, we're going to be showing you the top 15 travel destinations in South America. The continent boasts an incredible variety of landscapes, cultures, and adventures. From soaring Andes peaks and ancient ruins to cosmopolitan cities and dense rainforests, there is a destination for every traveler. So let's start off with number 1, Machu Picchu, Peru. Machu Picchu stands at 2,430 meters above sea level, perched on a ridge in the Peruvian Andes. This mystical Inca citadel, with its soaring terraces and stone temples carved into the mountainside, is often called the Inca Empire's most astounding urban creation. Travelers arrive by train to Aguascalientes or hike the legendary Inca Trail, emerging at sunrise over the ruins. The morning's light bathes the temple in golden glow and reveals sweeping canyon views. Visiting Machu Picchu feels like stepping into a lost world of history, shrouded in mist and green mountains. Hike the Inca Trail or the shorter Salcantay Trail to arrive at Machu Picchu at dawn for a magical first glimpse. Wander among the ruins, explore the Temple of the Sun, the Intihuatana Sanda, and the terraced agricultural fields. Climb Huayna Picchu or Machu Picchu Mountain for panoramic views over the site and the surrounding valleys. Learn about Inca culture at the small museum in Aguascalientes before or after your Machu Picchu visit. Once you're done, head to Iguazú Falls, Argentina, Brazil. Iguazú Falls, straddling Argentina and Brazil, is one of the world's mightiest waterfalls. The falls span nearly 1.7 miles and plunge up to 269 feet in places, comprised of about 275 separate cascades. The thunderous roar and ever-present mist create an awe-inspiring jungle atmosphere. Visitors can walk along a network of wooden boardwalks in Iguazú National Park that bring them close to the fall's edges. Feeling the spray on their faces, colorful toucans dart through the surrounding rainforest, adding to the adventure. Walk the Devil's Throat, Garganta del Diablo, viewpoint for the ultimate view of the most powerful cascade. Take a zodiac boat ride under the falls for an exhilarating, wet and wild perspective. Stroll the upper and lower circuit trails on both the Argentine and Brazilian sides to soak in different views of the cascades. Moving on to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Rio de Janeiro is a vibrant city nestled between lush mountains and golden beaches. Its skyline is dominated by the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue atop Corcovado and the Sugarloaf Peak overlooking Guanabara Bay. The city combines laid-back beach culture with electric nightlife and rich history. You can relax on Copacabana or Ipanema Beach by day and dance samba in the historic Lapa district by night. Rio's cosmopolitan energy is most famously showcased during Carnival, but you'll find festive spirit year-round in its music, street festivals, and churrascarias, Brazilian steakhouses. Ride the cable car up Sugarloaf Mountain for panoramic views of the city and bay, especially stunning at sunset. Visit the Christ the Redeemer statue via the scenic Corcovado Trail. It's a must-see emblem of Rio. Experience samba and nightlife in Lapa. See the famous Arcos de Lapa and enjoy live music in local bars. Explore downtown Rio. Visit the colonial-era Teatro Colón and stroll vibrant markets like Feira de São Cristóvão for Bahian culture. Like in the video so far, we would appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe to show you enjoyed this video. Now continuing in Brazil, the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon rainforest in Brazil is an immense, biodiverse wilderness, roughly the size of the lower 48 US states, and 2/3 of it lies within Brazil. It is a home to an astonishing variety of life, including over 16,000 tree species, 1,300 bird species, 400 mammals, and countless insects. Travelers venture into the jungle via riverboats or jungle lodges. A favorite activity is cruising the muddy Amazon tributaries near Manaus to spot pink river dolphins, caimans, monkeys, and exotic birds among the flooded forest. Remember the shelter of a bug repellent. Few other places have so many buzzing mosquitoes. Stay at a jungle lodge on the banks of the Amazon River or one of its tributaries and take guided forest walks to learn about medicinal plants and wildlife. Cruise the meaning of the waters near Manaus, where the Rio Negro and Amazon rivers flow side by side without mixing. Go on a night safari. Look for caimans, alligators, frogs, and nocturnal mammals using spotlights along the river. Visit an Amazonian village to experience local culture, handicrafts, and the famous Amazon theater, Teatro Amazonas in Manaus. Off to the mountains of Torres del Paine National Park, Chile. In Chilean Patagonia, Torres del Paine National Park offers some of South America's most dramatic scenery. Towering granite spires, the Paine Massif, rise sharply from emerald valleys and turquoise glacial lakes. The legendary W Track or O Circuit takes hikers by glaciers, rivers, and the park's iconic 3 Torres towers. Wildlife here is abundant. Guanacos, Andean camelids, foxes, and enormous Andean condors soar overhead. Every vista, from the mirrored waters of Lake Pejo to the glaciers of Great Lake, feels like a scene from a nature film. Take a catamaran on Lake Pejo or Glacial Gray for an up-close iceberg experience. Go horseback riding or mountain biking through the Patagonian steppes to see pumas and guanacos in the wild. Photograph wildlife. Dawn and dusk are great for seeing foxes and hundreds of bird species like condors and flamingos. Off to the highlands of Uyuni Salt Flats, Bolivia. The Uyuni Salt Flats is the world's largest salt flat, stretching about 4,000 square miles across the Bolivian high plateau. Its vast, white salt crust creates an almost surreal landscape, especially after rains when it turns into a giant mirror that perfectly reflects the day. The flat is dotted with cacti-covered volcanic islands like Incahuasi and fringed by colorful high-altitude lagoons. Travelers often visit at sunrise or sunset to see the salt crystals glow pink. The otherworldly silence and endless horizon make the Uyuni Salt Flats a truly unique destination. Walk on the salt crust and take fun perspective photos in the flat. Featureless expand. Visit Incahuasi Island to climb among giant cacti and gaze over the salt sea. Witness the mirror effect. If you visit between December and April, shallow water creates a perfect reflective surface. Explore the surrounding high desert. See flamingos in Laguna Colorada, the Red Lake, and turquoise lakes, rich in minerals. Stay in a salt hotel. Some lodges are even built from salt bricks, offering a quirky night under the high-altitude sky. Now let's head to the Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. The Galapagos Islands are an Ecuadorian archipelago of 19 volcanic islands and their marine reserve in the Pacific Ocean. This living museum and showcase of evolution is home to wildlife found nowhere else on Earth. Giant tortoises roam the highlands, marine iguanas bask on the black lava rocks, and blue-footed boobies perform their comical mating dance. Visitors snorkel in crystal waters alongside playful sea lions, turtles, and colorful reef fish. The island's isolation has resulted in extraordinary species. Studying the finches here famously inspired Darwin's theory of natural selection. Cruise between the islands to see different ecosystems, from the lush highlands of Santa Cruz to the stark lava fields of Isabela. Snorkel or dive among sea turtles, tropical fish, and if lucky, hammerhead sharks or whale shark. Observe giant tortoises in breeding centers on Santa Cruz, and spot marine iguanas on rocks at Punta Suarez. Walk on volcanic terrain. See the fossilized lava formations at Tortuga Bay, Santa Cruz, and the tuff cones at Bartolome Island. Learn about Darwin's legacy at the Galapagos National Park Interpretation Center in Puerto Ayora. Now with nature, let's head to the city of Buenos Aires, Argentina. Buenos Aires pulses with European flair and Latin soul. Wide boulevards and parks give way to tango dancers in historic San Telmo and cafe culture in Palermo. Colorful street art and live-in neighborhoods like La Boca. Key sites include the majestic Teatro Colón Opera House, the orange-walled Casa Rosada Presidential Palace at Plaza de Mayo, and the labyrinth Recoleta Cemetery, resting place of Eva Perón. The city is famous for its meat and wine. A night out might include a world-class steak dinner, and yes, tango music pouring from the clubs. Tango itself originated here. It's celebrated as UNESCO Intangible Heritage, so catching a live milonga is a must for cultural lovers. Wander through La Boca and San Telmo, watch impromptu tango in the streets and browse artisan markets. Attend a tango show or take a dance lesson in one of the city's famous milongas dance halls. Relax in Bosques de Palermo, rent a pedal boat on the lake, and visit the Rose Garden, Rosedal. Try Argentine cuisine, savor a parrillada, mixed grill, or pizza, and dulce de leche desserts at a classic cafe. Next, catch the coastal town of Cartagena, Colombia. Cartagena is a colorful Caribbean gem on Colombia's coast. The city's colonial old town is encircled by imposing stone walls and fortresses. UNESCO describes it as having the most complete fortifications in South America. Inside the wall, narrow cobblestone streets are lined with vividly painted colonial homes, church plazas, and bougainvillea-draped balconies. Horse-drawn carriages clip-clop by as salsa music drifts through the air. Along the waterfront, the breeze of the sea cools visitors who come to enjoy local seafood ceviche and the gentle tropical climate. Stroll the historic walled city through the Amurallada and photograph the pastel facades and ornate doors like the Cathedral of Cartagena. Climb the walls of Castillo San Felipe for views of the bay and a glimpse into Cartagena's past. Relax on nearby beaches like Boca Grande, or head to the Rosario Islands for a trip in turquoise waters. Enjoy Cartagena's nightlife. Sip cocktails at rooftop bars overlooking the old city, or dance to live salsa music. Next, head to the Atacama Desert, Chile. The Atacama Desert is the driest non-polar desert in the world. The high-altitude desert stretches over 1,000 kilometers of Chile's Pacific coast and offers almost lunar landscape. Its valleys are sculpted by wind and salt. White salt flats shimmer under the sun. Tourists flock to Valle de la Luna, Moon Valley, to watch the sunset paint the ochre ridges, and to the El Tatio geysers to see steam plumes at dawn. At night, the Atacama's clear, high-altitude sky becomes a planetarium. Visitors often join astronomy tours to gaze at stars and planets with powerful telescopes. Take an evening stargazing tour. The Atacama's altitude and lack of light pollution make it ideal for astronomy. Explore San Pedro de Atacama town. Check out local crafts, tasty empanadas, and handicraft markets. Up next, Lake Titicaca, Bolivia, and Peru. Lake Titicaca sits at 3,810 meters above sea level, making it the highest large navigable lake on Earth. Its vast blue waters stretch between Bolivia and Peru, framed by snow-clad Andean peaks. Visitors often start in Copacabana, Bolivia, or Puno, Peru, to board boats for island tours. Unique stops include the Uros Islands, man-made floating islands of reed where indigenous people still live in traditional houses. A boat trip on Titicaca connects travelers with ancient cultures and serene beauty. Ride boats from Copacabana or Puno to the Uros floating reed islands, meeting the Aymara people who maintain this centuries-old lifestyle. Explore Isla del Sol, hike ancient Inca paths, and visit the Sun Temple ruins on this Bolivian island. Visit Aquile Island, Peru, learn about Quechua weaving traditions, and enjoy panoramic lake vistas. Stay overnight in a lakeside lodge and stargaze under the crisp, high-altitude night sky. Next, visit the city of Quito, Ecuador. Quito lies high in the Ecuadorian Andes, at about 2,820 meters elevation, making it one of the world's highest capital cities. It is also one of the best preserved colonial cities in Latin America. The UNESCO-listed historic center overflows with Baroque churches like the gilded La Compañía de Jesús Grand Plazas and brightly painted balconies. Modern Quito climbs the surrounding volcano slopes, so in one day, you can walk narrow colonial lanes and then ride the teleferico cable car up Pichincha volcano for panoramic views of the city. The city's climate is spring-like year-round, perfect for leisurely city exploration. Wander the Plaza Grande and surrounding churches. Don't miss the Presidential Palace, Casa de la Cultura, and the impressive National Vow Basilica. Stand on the Equator Line. A short drive north of Quito is the Mitad del Mundo Monument, marking the equatorial line. Explore the markets. Try Ecuadorian treats like loco de papa, potato soup, or the famous colada morada drink in traditional eateries. Climb El Panecillo, hike or drive up to this hilltop statue of the Virgin Mary for 360-degree city views. Back into nature in Perito Moreno Glacier, Argentina. In the Argentine Patagonia town of El Calafate lies the mighty Perito Moreno Glacier, a river of ice flowing down from the southern Patagonian ice field. This colossal glacier spans about 121 miles and towers roughly 240 feet above Lake Argentina. Remarkably, Perito Moreno is still advancing, so visitors can visit the enormous ice chunks calved with thunderous crashes into the lake. Wooden boardwalks provide safe, close-up views of the brilliant blue ice walls. For an adventurous twist, tourists can join guided treks on the glacier itself or take scenic boat tours to see the glacier from different angles. Take a boat tour on Lake Argentina. It sails close to the glacier wall, so you can hear and see chunks break off. Book an ice trekking excursion. Strap on crampons and walk on the glacier surface with a guide. Visit nearby El Calafate to enjoy Patagonian cuisine like grilled lamb and the Glaciarium Museum to learn about glaciology. Fly off to Easter Island, Rapa Nui, Chile. Easter Island, known locally as Rapa Nui, is a remote island territory of Chile located over 3,500 kilometers off the South American coast. It is world famous for its nearly 1,000 monumental stone statues called moai. These enigmatic monoliths, carved by the early Rapa Nui people, gaze inland or towards the sea across the flat volcanic landscape. Much of the island is protected as Rapa Nui National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Exploring Easter Island means uncovering its mysterious past. At Ranowaraku, you can see moai in various stages of carving, and at Ahu Tongariki stand 15 restored moai in a breathtaking row by the sea. Visit Ranowaraku Quarry. see hundreds of moai partially burned in the volcanic rock from which they were cut. These restored stone giants make for unforgettable sunrises or sunsets. Relax on Atacama Beach, the only white sand beach on the island, with palm trees and 3 moai overlooking the surf. Learn about Rapa Nui culture, see petroglyphs at Orongo Village, and visit the modest island museums to hear local legends. And finally, Pantanal, Brazil. The Pantanal is the world's largest tropical wetland, spanning about 75,000 square miles across Brazil and into parts of Bolivia and Paraguay. It's one of the most wildlife-rich places on Earth. During the dry season, vast lagoons and marshes become wildlife magnets. Jaguars patrol the shoreline, giant otters play in the river, capybaras graze in the sun, and hundreds of bird species, from hyacinth macaws to toucans, fill the air. Eco-lodges and guided safaris let travelers get close to this diversity in a natural setting of flooded savannas and forest islands. Join a jaguar spotting safari. Local guides know the best waterholes and hides to find these big cats, especially July to October. Go horseback riding on a ranch. Ride the Pantanal's floodplain for an authentic wildlife encounter and sunsets over the wetlands. For birdwatch in the Pantanal, keep an eye out for jabiru stork, herons, and colorful kingfishers along the waterways. Stay at a fazenda, ranch, or ranch-style hospitality, and the chance to see how locals use the wetlands sustainably. We hope this video was helpful on planning on your next trip to South America. Got any destinations we missed out on? Drop your questions in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more travel ideas. Want more travel inspiration? Check out this video right here. And see you on your next adventure.